that their life is dry, they're, the remote ascetic yogis living in cold, drafty caves, just with grim faces. You see? No, devotees are happy. Devotees of Krishna are joyful. They derive great satisfaction and bliss, but where is that coming from, that joy? Kathayantas chamam nityam. Bodhyantas parasparam. From always enlightening one another and conversing about me. They're always glorifying Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Eager to hear about Krishna, eager to talk about Krishna, eager to associate among one another for that purpose. And thus they feel the bliss of Krishna's presence in all of their hearts. And what is the effect of that? This is called Rasa. This is that taste of the presence of God. This is how we get it, Rasa graha. This verse is telling us how to get it. Just follow this verse and you get it. And then what's the effect? So, Tesham Shatata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvagam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mama Priyante. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Tesham Evanupakartam Ahama Jnana Jamtama Nasyamyatma Bhavashto Jnana Dipena Bhashvata. To show them special mercy, I dwelling within their heart, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Just see. Ahama Jnana Jamtamaha. This ajnana means ignorance. Ajnana jam means born from. Tamaha, darkness. The heart, yes, as I said, is full of darkness. And within that darkness, there are so many of these sinful seeds. They are nourished in the darkness of ignorance. The darkness of ignorance means simply forgetfulness of Krishna. As we forget Krishna, as we remain ignorant of Krishna, unconscious of Krishna, then for sure, these countless seeds of sin in the heart will continue to nourish and grow, nourish and grow, nourish and grow, and develop. And thus, our life remains sinful. So what is the cure? What is the solution? That darkness must be illuminated. And Krishna says, I am that illumination. Nasyamya. I dispel. I drive away. Atma bhava. Within their hearts. Shta. I am situated in their hearts. Shta means situated. So Krishna is there in their hearts. And so I personally drive away this darkness, jnana dipena, with the torchlight of knowledge. Vata, which is glowing with the pure spiritual light. So the heart becomes illuminated. And as soon as that spiritual light floods the heart, then all of these sinful desire seeds, which can only flourish in the darkness, they're neutralized. Prabhupada gives the example of frying seeds. Just like when we cook, we spice in the Krishna's kitchen. We spice our foods with such seeds as cumin seeds. These little seeds, if you plant them in the ground, they're going to grow, a cumin plant. But if you put those seeds in a frying pan with a little ghee, and put it over the fire and cook them a little bit, a little smoke comes up, the seeds are still there, but they're never going to grow. You plant those seeds, they'll never grow. Finished. They've been brought in contact with flame. So Krishna is saying, I become such a flame in the heart, flame of knowledge. And he cooks all those seeds of sinful desires. And they're finished. They can't grow. They can't develop. So then at that point, then memory becomes pure. Manaksu, the mind becomes pure, the heart becomes pure. And then we go from this perverted reflection, living in the shadows of God's glory, of God's name, form, qualities, activities, relationships. This world is the shadow of that. We come out of that shadow and we come into the reality. And we take our part in that reality. Every one of us has a part to play in Krishna's Leela, his glorious transcendental pastimes of love with his devotees. Every one of us, you see, is a potential actor in God's own eternal play of love. Every one of us has a part in God's great script. Unfortunately, those of us who are here, we have given that up. But Krishna comes after us, you see. This is his mercy. And we try to forget him, but he never forgets us. And he comes after us. So therefore this Krishna consciousness movement is spreading throughout the world. To wake everyone up. Chant Hare Krishna among the devotees of the Lord, and get this rasa, get this taste. Tushanti cha ramanti cha, and that will purify the heart. And then Ananda Chinmaya Matayamanaksu Yak Praninam Pratipalam Smaratamopetya Lilayatena Bhuvanani Jayatam Dasham. That the Leela of Krishna, his transcendental pastime, conquers over. Lilayate Bhuvanani means this material world. This is the way we conquer over this material world. Because this material world has all of its attractions, which are just reflections of that Leela, that original attractive Leela of the Lord. All these nonsense things going on in this world that people are watching on television to see. Love affairs, you see, between their favorite movie stars. All this rubbish stuff. People get so engrossed in that. But it's only because they have nothing else. They don't know anything else. So again, this is a shadow world. So when we come to know the Lord's Leela and gain taste for the Lord's own pastimes, his own activities, then we can conquer over these shadowy attractions here. And that is the meaning of dhyan. That is the meaning. That is the true meaning of meditation. It's not meditating on a blank wall. They say I told you about Zen Buddhism. So they say the founder of Zen Buddhism, whose name was Bodhidharma, he was an Indian prince who came to China. And he went into a cave. And he just sat looking at a blank wall of the cave. That was his meditation. And of course his eyes became, he became sleepy. I mean, what's the interest in looking at a blank wall? So his eyes began to droop, but he was so determined that with a knife he cut his eyebrows off so they wouldn't close anymore. So his eyes were always staring open. And he looked at this blank wall for 12 years. And then he's supposed to achieve some kind of exalted state of nirvana. But who is going to do that? Let's be honest. He's the Acharya of Zen Buddhism. Acharya means one who sets the example. So who's going to follow that example? Stare at a blank wall for 12 years, and if you start to get sleepy, you cut your own eyebrows. Eyelids. Cut your own eyelids off. So you're forced to stare at the blank wall. This is not, this is not natural. We can see what people are naturally attracted to. They're naturally attracted to the affairs of other people. So God is the original person. And God's affairs are the original. All attractive, all beautiful, nectarian, display of rasa. So that is natural object of meditation. And all of that meditation is compressed into the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Of course, we have so many texts, Bhagavad Gita, introductory text, but we have Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Chaitanya Charitamrita and so many other scriptures which are describing very elaborately the Leela of the Lord. But Manaksu, the mind must become clean to accept this remembrance. So we clean the mind, particularly by chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I will stop here. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Yes.
I have 2 questions. One is, there's something called Anusmrti, which I think is referring to the planetary system of Dhruva, and yogis meditate on that. It's mentioned in Bhagavatam. It's quite mystical. Can you explain it?
Dhruva Anusmrti. Yeah, this is, I was actually talking about this morning, that the Vishvarup, we're in our classes that we're also having sometimes every other day, the Bhakti Mikhail's place, we've been reading the Narayan Kavach prayers. So just this morning we read in one of these prayers a prayer to Vishvarup, the universal form, for protection within space, Akash. There was a prayer to Lord Vamana for protection on land, and a prayer to Lord Matsya for protection in water, and then space, Vishvarup. So Bhagavatam says that the Vishvarup, the universal form of the Lord, is also visible in part. Of course, the full universal form, as we learn in 11th chapter, requires divine eyes, divya chakshush, to see. This is actually seeing Krishna everywhere in everything, and seeing everything within this world is being originating in Krishna. So this is this is a divine vision. But the yogis, they have a process of meditating upon the Lord by envisioning His form within the stars of the night sky. Just like we have these constellations. There's something like, I have one book, so it says there's something like 88 officially recognized constellations. And so there's, Draco the dragon is one, so, or the great bear, the little bear, like that. So people can see relationships between certain stars, and then out of these relationships a form appears, and there's a legend associated with these forms. So the mystic yogis also have a process by which they envision the total starry display as being the Vishvarup, the universal form of God. And all these stars are rotating around Dhruva Loka, which we call in the West the pole star. And that is considered Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, the planet of God, Satyalok, the Satyalok planet of Chirodakashai Vishnu, is there, that Dhruvalok pole star. So then, by this mystic process of meditating upon and then ascending also, they're ascending. This is a great ancient process which is not possible to practice now. But they use the rays of the different planets, the sun, the moon, the different planets. They use the rays of these planets, something like step ladder, It's very esoteric, you see. These rays means there are different vibrations of energy, and they tune by meditation their minds to these different gradations of energy. In the ancient Greek world also, they had this idea, the philosophers, the music of the spheres. The first Greek philosopher of all, his name was Pythagoras. In fact, historians say he's the first one to have used this word philosopher. The word philosopher is traced back to Pythagoras, who lived even before Plato and Socrates. And he was a mystic. And so he viewed the universe as an arrangement of vibration. And these vibrations were associated with the planets. So something like that. Then you tune in to these vibrations. You tune your conscious, like you tune a radio to different stations. So there's a succession of harmonic vibrations. And so one can, by meditation, tunes higher and higher and higher, and this way elevates upward, 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 upward. And finally comes to the highest point, this Dhruvaloka pole star, which is the entrance to Vaikuntha. But this is, even in the times when this can be practiced, this takes very, very long. This is Satyuga process, and those Satyuga times, the lifespan of the human being was 100,000 years. So much time was given the human being because of such kind of process, requiring so much time to make spiritual advancement. Now we're lucky if we live 70 years. So although when I explain this, this all sounds very wonderful and mystical, you have to understand that that door is closed. It's still there in the scriptures, hinted at, described, but it will not be possible for us. But we have the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's the same principle. This is a vibration, a transcendental vibration, non-different from Krishna. Non-different from Krishna. You see, this other process is, it's a gradual process, first elevating oneself through various material vibrations, different from Krishna, coming higher and higher, and finally coming to Dhruva Loka, which is still situated within the sphere of the material world. But the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana, it is exported right out of Goloka Vrindavan, the topmost spiritual planet, into this world. So if we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, just like they say in Monopoly, you know, go direct, what is that? Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. So you go directly back to Godhead. You don't stop off on the different planets on the way. You see, stop in and visit Indradev, or you see Brihaspati, or Brahma even. You go beyond all of them. And even go beyond the Vaikunthas, all the Vishnu Lokas. And even Ayodhya, and even Dwarka and Mathura. One goes to Krishna Lok by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, as it is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In that line.
When you say the light of the pole star, is that Brahmajyoti? Because it's a spiritual.
Well, actually all that light, this light of the sun and the light of the stars, is Brahmajyoti light. But it is not in its, it is in its reduced. It is not in its fullest manifestation. But Prabhupada explains this, that like Surya Narayan, see there's Surya, the demigod, the jiva, who assumes the post of the sun god. But Surya Narayan means behind him, that energy of the sun is coming from Lord Narayan, and it is his Parashakti, his Shakti. So Yasya Prabha Prabhado Jagananda Kurtim, that Shakti, that prabha, that effulgence. And so that Shakti is channeled by the Lord so that Surya can, carry it. It's reduced. He can carry it. He can bear it on his chariot and in this way move through the heavens. The full potency he would not be able to bear. Anything else? Yeah?
Other kind of question, but to what extent is the suffering in the material world a reason to pick up a spiritual life?
To what extent is the suffering in the material world the reason to?
Pick up a spiritual life.
To pick up the spiritual?
To be spiritual.
Uh-huh. Well, yes, there's, as Prabhupada said, actually, the Hare Krishna movement and Maya Devi have the exact same mission. The difference is like the example of the carrot and the stick, that's all. That, like a donkey, this animal, looks like a horse, but is not as intelligent as a horse and not as good looking as one. Donkeys are famous for being very stubborn. So sometimes it's hard to get them to do work. So then they have this carrot stick method. So they dangle with a stick from behind, in front of its nose, a carrot. It smells the carrot. Donkeys are very fond of carrots. And at the same time, on the backside, you're beating it with a stick. So therefore it has two reasons to move forward. There's pain behind, and there's something to eat dangling in front. So Krishna consciousness is offering the positive spiritual life, nectarian Krishna consciousness. And Maya is kicking us from the back. Maya Devi is punishing us for our laziness, our spiritual laziness. So actually the two go hand in hand. But of course we should not remain in that situation. We should get out of Maya's clutches. Krishna says that's possible by surrendering to me. Mame veve prapadyante mayamit tam tarantite. That you just surrender to me completely, and then Maya will let you go. So yes, people to realize that you're suffering in this world, that's already, quite advanced. That's already something. Many, many people in this world don't really understand that they're suffering. They still have they still have so much hope that, they can become successful, they can attain their desires, they can become whatever they want. They still retain these hopes. But the simple fact is that it's hopeless. Even if you do attain these things, which is very, very chancy. Even you get it, you can't keep it. Even you get it, what have you got? What you really got is simply more anxiety. The more money a person makes, the more wealth he has, the more worries he has. A young man, he wants to have a beautiful woman by his side, but the more beautiful she is, and the more worried he is that some other guy is going to take her away from him. So on the one side he's, so proud to walk down the street with her, but he's always looking around like... So many people are, they're so, because as I've been telling you in several classes, the sense gratification, it is addictive. It is like a drug. So it dulls us. we don't see how we're suffering. We become so driven by our urges that we forget, we don't perceive that this is just suffering. So this is the great tragedy. So it is actually a rare thing. It's rare in this world that someone actually understands, wait a minute, all this that I'm doing, it's useless. So why am I doing it? Just to come to that understanding. It's not often seen. And then from there, if they're fortunate, if they can get good association, then they can take up Krishna consciousness seriously. This is the whole story of Bhagavad Gita, because that's Arjuna's position in the first chapter. He comes to that point. Wait a minute, what am I doing here? Why am I going to fight this battle? What's the use of it? That's his lamentation, and it's very good. It's an excellent foundation for the rest of the Gita, because Arjuna is in this way, he's giving up all material motivations for his actions. He's saying it's not worth it. It's not worth it for me to fight this battle. What am I going to get from it? And Krishna explains to him the ultimate reason. This is what Gita is all about, the ultimate reason. Yes, Arjuna, you should fight. You should fight, and you're right, not for anything material, but you should fight for me. Because I am God, and I am telling you to do this, and that's why you should do it. And there is no other reason. So it's good to come. The first chapter is called Vishada Yoga, the yoga of Arjuna's lamentation. So this is the first step in spiritual life, as we see from this book. To lament. Why? What is all this for? Well, actually, you see, it is for something. It is for serving Krishna, that's why. And that's been our big mistake all along, that we had a different idea why there is this world. We think this world is here for us, our playground. You see, our people, when they talk, you hear them all the time. My world. What is this? My world. You made this world? Huh? This is my city, Amsterdam. Oh yeah? Oh, it is? You made it? You built all these buildings here? How is it your city? How is this body yours? Did you make your body? Huh? You cooked it up in a test tube and then put it on? Actually, nothing is ours. So to realize this is intelligent. And generally people come to this realization through lamentation, because they try to enjoy themselves, to lay claim to things, and they experience that it's simply frustrating. And so they lament, oh, life is so terrible, life is so horrible, I don't see what the point of living is. But Krishna gives the point. Krishna tells Arjuna, I have given all this for you to serve me. That's why we have this body. So we can serve Krishna with it. Yes?
I was thinking there's a difference between karma kanda and karma yoga, because the word yoga means to link up with Krishna. But if it's sakam, it means like you worship Krishna for material benefit, and karma kanda means worshiping demigods. I also understood like that.
Yes, but karma kanda means they're very close. Sakam karma yoga and karma kanda. Very close, but there is a difference. Because the yoga means steady. At least the sakama karma yogis are steady at it. If you want to be cynical, you can say they have so many desires. They keep doing their rituals to satisfy them one after the other. There's so much. This is the prabriti marga. Prabriti marga means so many desires, like kings, They have so much opulence, so many things to attend to, so many duties to fulfill. So they have to just keep up all the religious activities. But karmakanda means temporary. Karmakanda means that just for some specific purpose, some specific goal, then he'll do some yajna, do some puja, and when he gets it, then he stops until, maybe next year. Then he has another, real important need he has to satisfy, and then he again becomes religious.
It's quite interesting you saying this, because we used to do this in our home. Each year twice a yagi, and then next year twice a yagi.
Yeah, so that would be karma kanda. Karma kanda. But sakama karma yogi is one who is regular. He's regulated in his, that's what Prabhupada says here. Regulated. Regulated means every day. But he's doing it out of desire. So he has a lot of desires. But he has the good sense to be steady. And that will purify him. Okay, we should stop. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Suhotra Maharaj ki jai.